All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are diving into some absolutely jaw-dropping new science that is going to change pretty much everything you thought you knew about your body, your fat, and your metabolism. I mean, we're talking about research so new that textbooks literally haven't been written yet. So, let's kick things off with a story that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. Now, that quote you're seeing, it's from a researcher describing a real patient in a clinical trial. And the source of this unbelievable healing, well, it comes from a place most of us are trying to get rid of, our own body fat. For so long, we've thought of fat as, well, just fat. It's energy storage, it's something to lose. But what scientists are discovering is that it's actually a dynamic, powerful organ with this incredible hidden potential. And unlocking that potential is the key to how that patient was healed. Okay, let's really get into this. So what's the secret sauce here? It's these things: adipose-derived stem cells. And adipose is really just the fancy scientific word for fat. So inside our fat tissue, we have these powerful master cells. And what's wild is that they're context dependent. Basically, that means they can adapt to whatever neighborhood you put them in. You move them from fat to a heart, and they can start making new heart tissue. The possibilities are just unbelievable. So you're probably wondering, how on earth do they get these cells out? Well, it's a really fascinating process. It actually starts with liposuction. Then they use an enzyme to dissolve the fat, and a centrifuge, which is like this super fast spinning machine, separates everything out. The heavy stem cells sink to the bottom, they pour off the fat, and what's left is this concentrated dose of regenerative power that was locked inside your own fat the whole time. And this is what it all leads to. This powerfully illustrates the potential we're talking about. In that trial, they took these stem cells and injected them right into a young man's severed spinal cord. And it worked. The ability to heal and regenerate is already inside us, just waiting to be unlocked. Okay, so we've established that fat is this incredible regenerative organ. But its power isn't just for some futuristic medical procedure. This organ is active in your body right now. And the amazing part is, you can actually influence it. Not with high-tech stuff, but with what's on your plate. Let's see how. Now this is where things get really, really interesting. Scientists found this surprising link between how excess fat grows and how tumors grow. See, both of them rely on a process called angiogenesis, and that's just the body's way of growing new blood vessels to feed them. So just like you can starve a tumor by cutting off its blood supply, you can actually shrink fat the exact same way. So how do you do that? With food. This is incredible, right? Research is showing that natural compounds in these everyday foods are what we call anti-angiogenic. The genistein in soy, the EGCG in green tea, the lycopene in tomatoes, all of these things help cut off the blood supply that excess fat needs to get bigger. And what's even cooler is that these foods aren't just one-trick ponies. They are, as researcher Dr. William Li puts it, Swiss Army knives. So for example, that lycopene in tomatoes, yeah, it fights angiogenesis, but it's also a powerhouse antioxidant that protects your cells from damage. These foods are absolute multitaskers that support our body's defense systems in so many different ways. So, understanding that fat is this active, influential organ, it brings us to the biggest health myth of all, and that's the idea that our metabolism is just destined to slow down as we get older. Well, get ready, because everything you thought you knew is about to be turned upside down. I mean, we've all heard it, right? For decades, we've blamed weight gain in our 30s, 40s, and 50s on a slowing metabolism. But what does the latest, biggest, most ambitious science actually have to say about that? To answer that very question, an international team of over 90 researchers got together for this massive landmark study. They looked at the metabolism of 6,000 people across the entire human lifespan. I'm talking from 2 days old all the way to 90 years old. Now, at first, the data they collected was just a complete mess. But then, using AI, they did something absolutely brilliant. They built an algorithm to basically subtract the metabolic impact of excess body fat from every single person in the study. And when they did that, bam, the crystal clear, hardwired blueprint of human metabolism was finally revealed. And what they found changes absolutely everything. It turns out all humans, everywhere on the planet, are hardwired to go through 4, and only 4, distinct metabolic phases across our entire lives. Okay, so the first 2 phases cover our childhood and teenage years. But look, Just look at that third phase, from age 20 all the way to age 60, through having kids, building careers, going through menopause, all of middle age. Our core metabolism is a flat line. It doesn't slow down, not one bit. This is the most stunning finding from the research. It's the mic drop moment. We are not designed to get sluggish and gain weight in our 40s and 50s. We are literally hardwired for metabolic stability for the vast majority of our adult lives. So, if our metabolism isn't slowing down, what in the world is really going on? Why do so many of us struggle with weight as we get older? Well, this is where the final, and honestly, the most empowering twist comes in. We didn't just get it a little bit wrong, we had the entire story completely backward. It's not a slow metabolism that causes you to gain fat. No, it is the other way around. Okay, here is the core takeaway. Our lifestyle, our choices, they can lead to gaining excess inflamed body fat. And it is that excess fat that then actively suppresses and derails the powerful metabolic engine that every single one of us was born with. And this brings us to the ultimate point of empowerment here. You are not a victim of a slowing metabolism. You have the agency. You have the power. By making choices that help your body manage fat, you can unleash the powerful, rock-steady metabolism you've had this entire time. So that's the empowering question this new science leaves us with. The power isn't in some magic pill or some crazy new diet. It's already inside you, and it's in the choices you make every single day. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.